Hey everyone! So today I got a fun API integration that we're gonna do in Python. So a client approached me and they would put in stats from this website, Altcoin Trader, and if we check out the website quickly, so you see they have various tokens, they've got the exchange rates to South African rands because I'm in South Africa right now, and they were interested in some of the information. They were taking daily read-ins, they were doing this manually, and after a while they just stopped because it was taking too much time and it was too repetitive. And this is the type of stuff that's great for computers. And then I found out that there's an API specifically for this website. So I was like, that's perfect. They've got this endpoint with live stats. They list out and return all the tokens with the price, sell, buy, high, low, volume. So a bunch of cool information. And today I'm going to show you how we can go from a completely blank project, nothing in here, to a finished API integration in not even 10 minutes. So as I start all my projects, I've already created just a blank directory for the project, which is what I've opened up in PyCharm. And I'm a big fan of using virtual environments. So virtual environments are great for keeping different versions of Python modules in their own space, and also making sure you don't have any conflicts going on. And it makes things a lot easier to reinstall on the fly and have it across many pages. So I've created my virtual environment, I've activated that. I'm just going to upgrade my pip quickly. That's always the first you're going to do. And for this project, it's a super simple API. It doesn't have any authentication on this endpoint that we're going to be integrating with. So all I need is requests. This is just a helper class, a helper module around HTTP requests, which can be a bit of a headache sometimes. So basically for the project, that's all we need. So if we now flip back, we still have this empty project. I'm going to create a client, So the way I like to build out these API integrations is you won't be thinking about reusability. So I like to build essentially a client that's going to house all the requests to the various endpoints for this API that we're building. So here we've got our empty client, good to go, and we can see this returns JSON structures. So I'm going to be needing potentially JSON in the future if I want to handle it in a nice way. But for now, all I need is requests. We've got a base URL for the project for the API. So these are obviously the individual endpoints, but each endpoint is going to have this as its base URL, and then the endpoints get appended onto that. So now we've got going to build out our one and only function so far. So get just something that's really easy to know. Add a return statement, so you make sure you don't forget to add it later. Always a doc string, even if it's simple, makes it much easier for yourself and everyone else working on the project. Okay, fantastic. So now we're going to add our endpoints, which we've got there, live stats. Okay. Now I just need to use the OS library because when I get, I want to make sure I've got the completed URL available. So base URL endpoint, boom. So this is gonna just handle forward slashes for us and everything across different operating systems and build out that URL properly. Maybe a bit overkill for this situation, but I'm gonna do it anyway because it's kind of force of habit. And because we know we're getting JSON back, so there we go, response, content type, application JSON, we're getting that back in JSON. We're going to use the helper function .json from requests to transform it straight to JSON and the Python dictionary, return it back. Now that client's done. Essentially, we've built out that thing we wanted to do. So now if I go import this client, import out join client, this client, just as an easier shorthand, stats equals client dot fetch live stats. And there we've got our stats. And if I want to quickly iterate through the response in stats. So there we see we print out for the BTC tokens, we got the price, we got the sell, the volume, things like that. Now, if we want to, we could call it a day. We're done. We've built this API integration. But just to show you how I would use this in a greater project. So we've built out this client that we want to be able to use across different platforms, different projects. Like I could wrap that up into a pip module now, and you guys can go install it, and you've got this thing we've just built together. But what I would normally do is I have a service class, or I have another script that's going to be calling this client that we just built. So essentially just doing exactly what we did in the terminal here, in the interpreter. So we've got our client, and then same thing, data client dot fetch live stats. And in this case, same thing. We'll be iterating through to the token data in data.items, because we saw what structure was. So we see it here. I'll even throw it above our loop just so we can see. And then we've got print, we've got our token. And then say all we wanted to know from this thing is the current price. So we would have our data. Gotta go single quotations there because we're using doubles on the outside, and then we would say price. Okay, this is just giving me a complaint because my interpreter in PyCharm is less than Python 3.6, which is where you get F strings from. But obviously my interpreter version in my virtual environment is here. So if I just call this, it should print out everything expected, done. So in that very short video, literally 10 minutes, I've shown you how we built out this client, which we're focusing on. We're still making good practices with doc strings. We are using constants, trying not to repeat ourselves when we had to. So if we were going to build out another function now, if there was another endpoint we wanted to request, again, we'd be doing the same thing, defining the endpoint for that specific request, build up the full path, make the request, get the data. Already, you would start to see repetition in these things. So you could make a helper function that does that stuff as well, but for now it'd be unnecessary. But yeah, and then we import that client. This is the structure just to remind us what we're getting back for each item, and then we're printing out what we want.